Tertúlia.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today is Sunday, October 10, 2010, which means it's an odd day. Regarding the date, it's number 10, 10, 10, 10. The entry is 1717, has 4 pages, 40 ologies, and 7 maxima. The theme is Avoidable Resource, and the subdiscipline is Recexology. The definition. The avoidable resource is the instrument, appliance, device, manner, technique, method, or intraphysical source formerly providential to the consciential evolution and used to overcome difficulties and embarrassment, now become outdated due to the more advanced new needs and natural demands of the lucid intraphysical consciousness with self-discernment, hollow maturity, evolutionary intelligence, and higher priorities on a new landing. The 4-dimensional resources, the feedback evolutionary resources, the potentials of intraphysical life, the convergence resources, the ancillary resources, the mental-somatic, reasonable and logic resources, the intelligent management of the available resources, the illusions of the wealthy era, the inutilities available, the supermarkets full of useless things, the pathological, hyper-consuming life, the supermarkets of piercings, the ideal resources for our life. We have 42 categories of resources usually used by human being. We have in referentiology we have 15 items. We can talk about the anachronitism, the bad media, addiction of the cultural formation. The emphatic sentence, the discharge of avoidable resources in the intraphysical life is the first expression of the lucid consciousness for the reasonable execution of the personal existential program towards the complexes. Do you remove the considered avoidable resources from your own way? Of which nature are these resources? We have a question. When the intermissivist doesn't make the praxis, does the evolutionary guider give another opportunity for the person to make another intermissive course? What happens? Is there the same praxis? It depends on the evolutionary sheet. Sometimes when you do another intermissive course, you know already what to do. But if the second one is more advanced, one should have overcome the first step. Yeah, it depends on your conditions, because sometimes the man or the woman is not high profile. You should evaluate depending on the evolutionary sheet. Another question. Do we all have helpers? Oh, you wish. Only the minority of people have helpers. Only those who are dedicated to the interassistentiality without sectarism in a universal manner. Are they predefinite and are they always the same? Can we evoke them? Well, it depends. If you have a helper, you can get in touch with it. But they are not always the same. For example, when you do Penta and you change, you turn to have extraphysical clinic, your helper will change. It varies from person to person. And analysis of egokarm and polykarm. Egokarm, I, you, him. Polykarm, us, you, them. I think it's great. Well, you think that's great, but I don't think so. Because when you talk about Polycarp, you say we, you, they, you're still talking about group karma. And when you enter the Polycarp, you don't expect anything from the others. Think about it. It's logical. Other question. Facing the existence of the Serenismus, especially the reurbanizator, I would ask, have you heard about the Illuminate? Oh yeah, this is very old story, but there are a lot of things full of mysticism and stupidities. Is there any logic when the United Nations could have a link to the Serenismus and have a mission among its interests diminishing the population of Earth? And is reurbanizator going against these kinds of ideas? No. The problem is to make the reurbanization. If the Illuminates are in this or not, I don't know. I am 18 and I have been feeling a break in my voice, and I feel lack of confidence whenever it happens. Sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's weaker. I have the need to carry sexual energies. I heard that sexual chakra and laryngeal chakra have a connection. First, you have to check your throat, look for a doctor, a physician, and then talking about the chakras, sex influences these problems. When you have sexual hypersensibility, sometimes you may have a coarctation of your throat. This is serious. Only by going to the bathroom and you can feel something different. In my course about sexosomatics, I used to explain everything about this, but in your case, you should check your throat, make some tests, assess your condition. And there is also something else. You should look for a specialist on voice, speech. I have watched this movie. It's very interesting, and the name is The Secret of Chamber. It has the power of the racism and the state of Mississippi in the United States, and they make a lot of victims even nowadays, and they deal with the coexistence of boys with the violence of the prejudice. And he's talking about 30 decades ago. The name is The Secret. It's a matter of prejudice. It's very, very difficult. I have been to the biennial of the book in Curitiba, and I haven't seen anything special. The books are small, and they must have been made for the ants to read because the letters are even smaller. How can we spend so much money making these kinds of books and still wait for people to read more and more? Well, I'm against these mini things, miniaturizations. They are trying to make everything smaller. It's wrong. Question. Have you or any other Tertullian watched the Paranormal Activity launched in 2010? There is an excess of phenomena in the book, in the movie. there was a psychic that ran because he was afraid. If he were a conscienciology researcher, would he face the phenomena? Well, what we want is to form specialists so these people can face poltergeist and all these phenomena. I haven't seen the movie, I can't say. I don't see this kind of movies because they don't show anything new. I don't waste my time. It's a lot of nonsense and that's it. Just like cat. I don't see any other movie about cat. Everything is against the cat. Here we have the newspaper of Aracê, colorful, brand new, October 2010. The study of the Homo sapiens pacificus, made through thousands of questions. They went to Hotel São Paulo. Oh, that's what a guy told me. Hotel São Paulo. And he told me, oh, it's your book, HSP, Homo sapiens pacificus. So in this newspaper we have everything about the Serenissimus lab. They have a new class of the applied researchology, the first Congress of Serenology, the 9th Congress of Inversion, and the recycling of solid waste. We have metal, paper, glass, and organic. There's something missing here. There's one missing. The explosive and the dangerous or hazardous waste. I have thrown away some batteries. They are hazardous. Remote control. They are not very thin. They are medium. We have to buy because mine are over. Another thing, in Belo Horizonte there is another course about parapsíquismo, and those who want to take a look, feel free to check. Oh, he's talking about Cristina Vicentin, a volunteer from a Today I have here a broader presentation that someone from Gramado made. We had a small one, now we have a bigger one, and smiling. Look, take a look. It's smiling. It's written, Christ waits for you. It's the book. It smells. The Tertuliarian is smelling chocolate. This was made to be seen, not eaten, okay? So you just pretend you will eat this, but we have been keeping this for long. We could eat the smaller one, right? But this other one is happier. It's very well done. It's the original, right? It's smiling. It is Smile God, the humor God. But our friend tells us that this name is not good. We can't say this in Spanish, but we are speaking Portuguese anyway, so there's no problem. Well, that's life. I don't think it's an avoidable resource. We can eat it. Everybody likes Kikito. About the avoidable resources, I call your attention to the Recexology. We have many resources here, and the categories of the evolutionary resources. The positive, we have cosmoethical, homeostatic, qualification task, resource. And about the useless, we have 15 to avoid. There are irrational things here. It's worth it. Waldo, I'm sorry for my ignorance, but in factology, second line, the evolutionary resources become absolute. What does it mean? Well, for example, you have a human body. Isn't it absolute? You're obliged to come here with it. You can't throw it away. It's an evolutionary resource, and it's absolute. From this one you can find others. The absolute resource I have here is Loshi. I always refer to Loshi, Mario, Malo, these people here. And there are other people. Evolutionary, absolute resource. About this Kikito, is it real chocolate? Aren't you feeling the smell? Aren't you? The smell is spread. My conclusion, this chocolate is better than the other one. Yeah. And it's another company. It's another company that made this chocolate. Professor, please, could you talk about the synergismology? Material resource, intellectual supplement, affection, investments, and parapsychical acquisitions. So the material resources, the things you receive for your praxis, your existential program, the intellectual supplements, whatever you study, your cultural life, your formation, your education, and then the affection investments, the evolutionary duo, if you have a duo, and then the parapsychical development. What do you do with your vibrational states and everything? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. You see 4 steps or levels, different levels. And there is a synergism to potentiate your evolution. You need to have a nest egg. The ideal is to have an evolutionary duo also. Regarding the parapsychism acquisitions, you should start Penta. We have 4 things here. In terms of synergy and thinking about the sum, the result is bigger than the parts. 1 plus 1 is not 2, is 3. This is synergy. Yes, thinking about these 4 items, how could I make this synergy if one of these or two of these items are not well developed? You will have deficiencies. You have a gap you need to correct. The faster, the better. In terms of avoidable resources, can this gap be due to an avoidable resource? Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. Take a look. If you find the material resources, you have better expression, higher liberty, freedom of speech, you can be a volunteer, participate here. If you have intellectual supplement, for example, you have a course, you have a degree, you can study and you can reach a mega gestation, consciential gestation in a little time. In terms of evolutionary dual, you can potentiate your evolutionary process with the help of another person. And with parapsychical acquisitions, during Penta, in 20 years, you can achieve a higher ground, even with intrusion freeness. So here, we are giving you the tips for you to solve the problems in your human life. If you don't get it, it's your problem. But things have never been more clear. The cards are on the table about this intraphysical life. Do you understand? In a way that it's in your hands. It's up to you. These are the necessary resources, the ideal resources. The entry is about the avoidable resources. Yeah, I see this is a synergy of essential resources and evolutionary ones. Yeah, but what is your score? Are you 4-0, 2-2? Are you losing the game? What's your score? You see? Waldo, page 3, exemplology. Could you explain why idolatry could be paragenetic? Yeah, idolatry is always paragenetic. Does it come from one life to another? Yes, from your holobiography. Let's say a person starts this process when one is savage. There was some idolatry. It comes during the centuries and the millennium. That's why we go against it. And also the guerrillatry should be avoided. Yeah, I had never thought about this as paragenetic issues. Yeah, in referenciology we also talk about the guerrillatry, and we go against this subject. The problem is to go against it. There are several things. There is one that is special for us, number 9. My husband told me, so yeah, I agree. Yeah, but the monarchy. But this was obvious for me, because it's avoidable. Toxics, energetic trash, astrology. But when you talk about avoidable resource, sometimes in the past you may have needed that. In the case of monarchy, do you see it somehow was good? Yeah, when they found out monarchy, they thought it was perfect, geopolitically speaking. But everything is overcome. Yeah, Waldo, but it was our only resource. Yeah, but it doesn't help people. It's gone. It's outdated. You can't use it as a resource. It's useless. See? Astrology was great when they started studying, but then they invented astronomy. So forget. Don't waste your time. Professor, letter A. Okay. Gustavo, would you come here, please? What? Yes? Oh, yeah, letter A. Page 2. Page 2, enumerology. Would you please explain a little bit more about this? I see there are the material resources, right? Yeah, I am talking about all the resources. Should I explain more? Everything we have in CEAEC, in Cognopolis. We have the labs, right? These are the resources for you to understand. I beg your pardon? A person must do these courses to know what is dischargeable, what's not good for her or him. The technical resources of APEX, SIMVAXs, all the Conscienciological institutions. And the kinds of assistance that are made in each event. The assistance is made in the advanced 2 is different from the consciential therapy. Yeah, but everything is aimed at the same scope, the same end. So you should understand this. There are different levels of the same condition. Who's got the microphone? On page 3, about the paragenetic avoidable resource, could you elaborate a little bit more on that? Okay, paragenetic avoidable resource. What do you want? Most of our stupidities are paragenetic. Think about this. What do you have as a weak trait? I ask you. About this one you're thinking. Is this paragenetics? And that other one you will think about, is that paragenetics? The first one was vanity and the second was pride. You had this a long time ago, right? About this same question, I think from one life to the other, we keep our tendency to idolatry, and that's why it's paragenetics. Yes, yes. One millennium to another. But my question is, in synergismology, you explained that these are essential resources, right? Synergismology. You talked about the essential resources. But I see that when we become extraphysical consciousnesses, they are going to be avoidable because we won't need a nest egg and all this. Yeah, in intermission, human life is avoidable itself. It is not avoidable, it's impossible. And
the problem is the following. Let's be frank. What happens is that people has difficult to overcome the past. It's the self-mimicry. The people always repeat the same foolish things from the past. So those are the things that we must avoid. That's the way. I have another doubt here in politicology. We have here the pure democracy. What is the relationship with the theme? We should avoid to use this political pattern that we are using here in Brazil. They are disgusting the politician here. We are doing the same performance as they are doing in Africa, you know. We are together with them. In terms of corruption and all the things, we are not the Republic of Bananas, but now we are. On the other hand, we are starting getting more financial resource. So, but we don't know what is the intention behind that. It must be explained. It's not so clear. But people outside, they are looking at us, you know, from the other nations. So we have to this condition now. Professor, here in Letter A. Nowadays, religion is an avoidable resource, isn't it? In your opinion, was there any moment in the history that it was useful? No. When they found Adam and Eve and the snake showed up, it was not necessary. We needed that for millennia, but now, not now anymore. Religion, septs, initiations, we have to forget all those things. So, everything that you said was okay, exception when, you know, people killed others and, you know, there was a time in the beginning that it was okay. You know, within a specific moment, in that specific geopolitics, it was very good, but later, okay. We have to snub all those things and forget everything. That's why it is so important to talk about this subject we are discussing today. Professor Waldo, on letter B, when we have to use an extreme resource, the extreme resource depends on the extreme resource. You know, there are some resources that are even more radical than others. Yes, we have surgeries, for example. If someone is about to having a surgery, they get all the family members together to decide about that. If you have a simple injection, it's something dangerous, so you have to think about carefully. Another extreme resource is when people show up here. Some people want to renew their life, and they come back in the other day after coming here. And the person has a lot of questions. I had thousands of people like this. Coming to Foz do Iguaçu is something extreme. Well, people from Foz do Iguaçu, this year I have attended a lot of people from this city. They found out that we exist. We have more courses here nowadays. Another thing is that they are intelligent people, intellectuals, not just workers, you know, or public servers. We have all kinds of people. We have a lot of people that are coming, are calling on us. The ICs that came up recently, they helped a lot. Apex is an example. You know, now the ICs have more people working. They are settled. And they have more roots. They are more settled. Institute is doing a regional work. In all this region, Apucarana, Medianeira, all those cities are being attended by the IIPC. I always attended people from all this region, but this day, people from here, Foz do Iguaçu, is, my audience is increasing. We've been working here for over 15 years, so we also have now this neighborhood, the Cognopolis neighborhood, so it's becoming well now. So this also has a reflection in our helping service that we have in Apex. People are searching for this help. I have people that came here 10 years ago and I didn't know. They didn't know me and I didn't know the person. And now this person is coming back after all this time. Yes. So people are coming back. Professor, the education secretary is attending CEAEC and she wants to do the advanced too. And people from the magazine, Sem Fronteiras magazine, want to have a special column for talking about Conscienciology. We have to indicate someone to them. Mabel has been dealing with them about that, and we are waiting for the final result. Professor, it was, we talked about religion. Nowadays we have all kinds of level of consciousnesses. Is there any consciousness that needs avoidable resources? These resources are avoidable for us, but we have animals, cats, dogs. They have to experience a lot of different things. It's part of the process. So they are in the beginning of the evolution. For those who have intermissive course, those are the people who have to discard all this avoidable resource. The intermissive course came to get all the things better. It's not for us to repeat everything. Intermissive course came to renew, recycling, the consciousness, openness for the evolution. That's what we are talking about. But here, I attended a CEAEC and then I had a doubt. When the teacher talked about the evolutionary scale, he said that the transmigrated consciousness had reached just 10% of the Serenissimus. And there was another student in this course, and she said that the transmigrated and even the reurbanized consciousness was the one who arrived here. And I could not understand. Is the reurbanized the one who arrived or not? If someone, let's see, if someone gets here and makes something really wrong, she or he must go away to be transmigrated. So we have to analyze the personal file. So the balance and this personal file are based on the interassistentiality. So you have to help others in order to evolve. Without that, it's impossible. The reurbanized is someone who was against people, you know, the murders, the bellicist people. They just think about war and bishops. That is this kind of people. I'm just giving you an example. Well, another question. My girlfriend attended the SIP with me and could felt excretions smell. What can be that? It can be an order. Yeah, when you work with energy and there is a bad smell, it's a matter of having an order. So it shows that there is or there are intrusion. It can be, or we can have an intruder behind that. A smoke, for example, a smoke smell is a matter of having an order. Another question, what vibrational state helped me a lot? Will the vibrational state in the future something avoidable? Let's see. Let's analyze. I think it's going to take a long time. Do you still use the vibrational state in this moment? Okay. He is trying to do a little business before. If you can do something after the vibrational state, yes, get straight to the mega authorization. Let's see. Another question. The fact that someone tells you that he or she has been cured by helpers from the religion, is that possible to be cured within a religion? You know, we have blind guys in these terms, and the person gets stuck in that situation. So we have to analyze this. But we have a lot of different kinds of cures. So someone, for example, got into the army and became a surgeon. But he became very happy, but it didn't help in anything. Alex Comfort, the author of the book on well, have you do you know about Bezerra de Menezes? You know, even when he was dead, he was appearing. And it has been over than 44 years. How to get out of the sex traps? You have to dominate your energies and you are going to get better. Everything is a process of logic and reasoning and pondering. You have to take everything to the discernment of your soma, and it's going to take over the situation. Here we have some situation. There are people here in my house who goes to the bathroom and don't flush. So we also have, you know, the example of the lady that doesn't look, you know. She flushes but doesn't look. There is also here in my house, you know, the problem of having a full waste basket or trash can. And I was thinking about leaving messages, something like this. If you don't have energy enough to eliminate what is not good anymore, doesn't have discernment. The problem here is you should speak clearly. Be more specific. Don't be so philosophical facing the garbage. We have signs. You have to put a sign. We have, those signs put on the wall, close to the toilet. We have everything done already. We have here in the stationery store. It's very nice. It smells good. It's very good. It's worth it. But please, don't make philosophy about the bathroom. It's a waste. He wants to make the philosophy of bathroom. But anything else you can, just use ellipses. For those who doesn't flush, for those ellipses, for those who are throwing the garbage away from the trash can, ellipses. So those things happen even in the best families, and we all have those situations. But, my grandfather was the one who had reason. He had a special technique of the brush. Do you know this case? Yes. My grandfather. For those who are attending the complementarian, the honor, I'm going to tell you this case. He married. Sometimes he had a lot of different shots on his body. He was very impressive. But now he was very practical. He was the one who made the weddings for the others. I understand about weddings because I was the one who made the contract. So the contracts were for 5 years. He couldn't renew the contracts after that. But so he was choosing someone to marry him. And the technique was like the following. So he was a very nice guy, a handsome man. He was very vain. He has a very nice mustache. And he was the technique of standing on the corner. Yeah, everything was aligned. So at the corner he could touch with his head and his body. And he was like very straight. This is the corner technique. So there was a door in front of him, and he was like leaving a brush crossing the way. If the women got into the room and just ignored the brush, he ignored the woman. So that was his technique, because he thought that the lady was not practical. I used to ask him if he wanted a slave. And his explanation was that the queen of the home should know about, the brushes. He was Portuguese, his origin was Portuguese, so he was very practical. He was very advanced for that time, but, poor guy, he was a sheriff. And it was not easy in that place, Serra Pelada. And he was very parapsychic and ectoplastic. So we had phenomena that he used to do with the glass of water. And there was there was also someone who was with him, Maria Cândida, and she's here now. It's not me, this energy. It's not my energy. Today she came here. That's why I'm talking about this. My grandfather is in a good way now. Maria Cândida was extraordinary. There's still someone in my family who calls her all the time, evokes her. Nowadays, she's a great personality, this Maria Cândida. She evolved a lot. She knows all our extra-physical helpers here. She's in a better condition extra-physically. I think she has attended the intensive course. She's looking better. She's just extraordinary. She's beautiful. But the guy killed her. This case is good for you to know. She was a lady who lived in a farm, and he was a daughter of a very nice farmer. And there was a kind of a cowboy, and he took a wife and followed her, and she was running away. He wants to rape her, and she was running away. She ran away, and he was after her. He could catch her. He killed her, and he put a corn cob all over her rose. Do you know what corn cob is? So he used that because of they were close to a storehouse of maize. It was a place for storing corn, so he took the corn cobs and used it with her. And by the time that my grandfather looked at that situation, he got really impressed, and they caught the guy. I think the farmers, they killed the guy. And my grandfather fixed all her body, and he made buried her. It was an extraordinary happening. Since that day, she is together with my grandfather. She was very beautiful. She was a very typical Brazilian woman. The energies, her energies is like this. So she told me that when I was with my grandfather, we had that synergism because of the ectoplasmy. You know, there were a lot of phenomena that happened with us when we were together and alone. You know, I was not always allowed to go to his house, but when I went, it was very good. They have those fields. He had those fields. He was the one who cooked, and he used to do everything in his house. He was extraordinary. And he had also those rocks from the sky. Yeah, those meteorites with different colors and everything. And he used that to hold the doors. You know, that stone. My infance was based on this. He used it to have taioba. Do you know what is it? Taioba. Another thing, there was something really fantastic in his house. It was a water source, a very clear water. And he had also a chemistry to analyze that water. It was very nice. It was in the center of the lot of his house. He sat that source of water with rocks, and it was very nice. I learned with him to plant manioc and another thing. I also learned with him to sell the pumpkins, oranges. I was a street seller. So he thought I was better than him at that time. So work, you know. But it was him that became stuck by the intruders. He spent a lot of years in that condition. After that time, the one who helped him was Eurípide Paysanduva. So, she's here now, the Maria Cândida. If you see an extraphysical around here, a very nice lady, she looks like a queen. She has a princess face, black hair. She appears the way she was as Maria Cândida. When she died, she was 17, something like that. But everything that happened to her was her past, was related to her past. It was something from Europe. Yeah, it was the group that deals with the Portuguese people. My grandfather was from, you know, the Piuí, Belo Horizonte, from these people, from the Portuguese. So, by looking at that, you can see how the situation is. What you want to say? Yesterday you said that you worked over 24 hours. Now I know everything about. I didn't know before, but now I know. Friday, 8th, 12 past 5 in Mara Rosa, Goiás, was the seismic earthquake. It was a sequential earthquake. There were two. They said that there was a chance to happen that. You said yesterday you were working with things related to Brazil. So we have the electoral researches. So we have 48% for Dilma and 41% for Serra. Just 7 points, percentual points of difference. Can this have some connection with this? I don't know. I think it's something related to Brasilia. So I worked a lot of energy related to Brasilia stuff. They were getting hit of the mega intruders in Brasilia. I worked all day over. I could not see TV or, you know, I didn't know about this earthquake. It was 14 kilometers deeper. It's high for our Brazilian pattern. You know, in Brasilia, they wanted to evacuate the buildings. The firemen, they received over than 200 calls. It was it was a high-level earthquake in Brazil. Another one was in the scale of 6.6 in Tombador, Mato Grosso. In May 2000, we went to the Senate doing a lecture within the Congress, and there was an earthquake in that time. It started from Argentina and came to Brazil, and Marina was giving an advanced too. In Brasilia, was it in Brasilia or Buenos Aires? So it was on May 2 in 2000, and we were in the Senate. But let's see what's going to happen. Brazil needs to renew all the things. We are in the way for the renovation. 2 nights ago, I found myself in the Bratosphere fighting. And I don't know how to fight. The martial fights. When I fell during this fight, I was like, I had something in my neck. I could not move myself from my bed. My condition got even worse. I went to the message maker, and now I'm not in a good physical condition. How could I explain this situation? Why did I bring to the physical reality this fight, the consequences of this fight? Well, the problem is the following. Sometimes what we see is that there is an instant figuration that the person creates to show the ache that the person is feeling. So by examining that, you can see how the onirism works. There was sometime I was doing those research, the field research, and it was getting very hot. I got tired, and I lay down underneath this tree, in order to rest, and after that, to keep working. And there was a moment that I had a nightmare. It was setting fire, and I had something in my left arm. And when I woke up, the sun was burning my arm. So the dream, I created that dream to come back to wake up and see that I was burning my arm. So this situation, this physical situation, can be something that related to this creation, the oniric creation. What I wrote in that time, it was that memory, our memory doesn't leave us without answer. If you see some consciousness with that face, for example, but that consciousness look like the George, someone. And then you think that consciousness is George. So your memory doesn't leave you without any answer. So that's the process of the hollow memory. Hollow memory would be unavoidable for the free consciousness to resonate. No, it's the opposite. They don't have it anymore. We could say that for the Serenissimos. He is almost a free consciousness, but not yet. Another question. My daughter is living with Umbanda practitioner, and he has a son of 2 years. So how can I help her? I put her name on the penta. I always exteriorizing energy for her. You have to help the guy with something. Give him a gift. because of the energy that goes with the gift. Take a look, analyze what he likes. So, there was a case that I solved. Guess what I gave to her? A car. Yeah, she just got better with this guy. It was a man. With his car, he changed his profession and his job. So he's a taxi driver, and in order to get taxi driver, you cannot use drugs.
I always think about practicing some acts without being helped, as if I could be independent. Is help avoidable or indispensable? Well, ask yourself or ask your other plan. I have the critic of the paranormal activity in the magazine Veja, number 21. It cost $15,000. Very cheap movie. And they could get 107,000 reais. And when they were about to launch the movie, Steven Spielberg got the tape and increased in $4,000. Just a few actors, no big tricks, and it was very cheap. Well, you can watch the movie and tell me your opinion. Professor Waldo, we were talking here about reorganized consciousnesses, and I was reading and reflecting about this issue. The technological resource. Many adolescents like games that involve fighting and computer games, several fights. Yeah, those video games. And they deal with fighting. Yeah, there are many people who even get crazy. It's like a mania. Video game mania. Everything is classified as illnesses, diseases. During this weekend, people will spend lots of time just playing games. It's very dangerous. Television is something you should allow your children to watch only for 4 hours. That's the rule. Think about this. Okay? You'd better prevent the problems, because after you enter that, the addiction is hard to solve. Waldo, page 3, Taxology, number 32. What could you highlight as politic resource? Evolutionary politic resource. We have an example of the Council of the 500, for example. We are trying to make this here. That's the way. We need to study the details of democracy regarding the reorganized consciousnesses. Resources we should study. You can't get rid of politics. It's part of the human personality. It's lack of maturity to run away from politics. You have to go against politicians who are bad, who have bad actions. But politics in general is part of our life. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. Waldo, you said that the past is something avoidable, but also unavoidable. Yeah, what happened is gone. It's impossible for you to finish the past. You can do something different in the present, but there's no way of changing the past. It's freeze. But most of our past was related to our vegetable lives and our deviations and our lack of maturity, our inexperience. So we should forget these things. We should see from now on and what's important for us, what's worth doing, and make the recycling, renew our things. The more you do the recycling, the more the unavoidable past come to you, right? Yeah, but they come through the assisted, not the assistant. The difference is very important in this case. When you work with your group karmic interpretation and you deal with your past all the time through your assisted, they are those who are coming to receive the money, to receive the help. The evolution mechanism is this, and there's no way out. I don't see any way of changing it. The change is in the self-effort of each person. That's what we're doing here. Of course, there are some people who go faster than the others. Professor, letter B. From all campaigns for president you have you seen something specific or different in this one we are facing now? You're talking about the campaigns, the election campaigns? Yeah, this one was the weakest and stupid ones, because there was no serious process, there was no election platform. There were campaigns that people talked about their objectives, but nowadays they don't want to be concrete, they don't want to be practical. The projects are lacking here. But Professor, is this a result of the country context or just related to the candidates? First, it's the type of Brazil. They want to get advantage of everything. Brazil has no opposition party. Everything is for everything. Everybody is together. So we need these leaders to consider this reality. It lacks maturity in their leadership. And the parties are guilty of this. When we have lots of corruption, people buy other people with their corruptions. It's spread everywhere, throughout the country. It's very serious. The tendency of Brazil is to improve more and more, because we're not a country with 7,000 people anymore. We are almost 200 million inhabitants. In 1940 something, Brazil had 45 million people. We are about 200 million. It's another reality. Some things got worse, okay, regarding politics. But imagine the United States. They are full of nonsense. This American economy based on savage capitalism has never been worse. All these million problems, and they are not solved, and there are strange laws. And Obama was talking about this odd law in these magazines. Just imagine. Do you think that a well-intentioned president is able to change things? Everything is possible, but you need to see the guts. If the person has the guts, there must be politic will to change things. There is a need in Brazil. There are well-intentioned people, but let's see what they make it, what they're able to make. All we need to do is to send away those dirty file candidates. They need to realize when it's time to retire. They're saying that ACM, Antônio Carlos Magalhães, is almost over. But only after the man was dead. He's one of the greatest colonels in Brazil. And his daughter was elected just now. And they are not able to change their minds. We could have some hope and say, oh, the next generation is going to be better. But they're all corruptive. There's no way back. Waldo, that's why there is no opposition party. Because they are together. Yeah, opposition. The left hand is only pro form. He wasn't elected. You see, they don't have strength. And Gustavo himself, he was the leader of the Mensalão, Gustavo Fritz, he was not elected. He was very good, but he was not elected. Now today we have the first debate of the second turn of the elections in Brazil. 10 p.m. in Bandeirantes broadcast. Yeah, but it's too late. They should do this earlier. Why 10 p.m.? It's too late. It's ridiculous. On a Sunday, the PMDB and the PT are majority in the Congress, Waldo. Just imagine, Mensalão is gonna lead the country. And the worst thing there is, in my opinion, is PT to lead the international relationships. The party is influencing in the international relations of Brazil. I don't understand. They hear Marco Aurelio Garcia. He has such a great projection, internationally speaking, and it's impressive. And he's the leader of the Fórum de São Paulo. We should ratiocinate with logics and pondering and balance. Any person who is for Fidel is psychotic somehow. And there are lots of people who are for him. How is that possible? How come? Century 21st, don't they have their own ideas? You see, they find a passion and they are stuck in that passion. Worse than this, only religious passions. That's what creates the fanatics, which are the worst on earth. And Chavez is his son, offspring. Fidel is the great father. There are people who are for Chaves. Read Carta Capital, the newspaper. In some aspects, he defends Chaves from Venezuela. He had a column in Caros Amigos, another magazine. Check. I indicate this magazine, Carta Capital, for you to read. They are for the guerrilla. They have several conditions summing up the Lula and Dilma election. And Lula is being depressed. There are people who are worried about him when he leaves the administration. They are really worried. The governors said that he should be less aggressive. The governors said, please stop being so aggressive. You're having a hard time. He was crying a lot. He didn't know what to do. There's always something. You were talking about this mega intrusion. Yes, when people get in crisis, they increase the alcoholic input. Brazil copies the Americans. They could copy the non-candidates because after the Olympics, Lula is probably coming back to the administration. He's gonna be candidate again. He's gonna participate in the shows here from Dilma. Let's see what he's able to say. Let's hope he doesn't lose, he doesn't get carried away. He was making a lot of meetings with PT, the party, but they are using Nazism. The international affairs represent Brazil, not the party. We are not in Cuba. This is not a Cubalization. I think we should think about this. What's been doing? In terms of right hand, jurisprudence, constitutional law, it's all wrong. This guy, Amorim, he is guilty. Someone to be okay in politics. What is the determinant? What's the variable? Is to help people, but without putting the country down. For example, Lula is helping some people, okay? Class C, D, E, whichever letter you pick. This is positive. But the modus operandi is wrong. That's the way. The means don't justify the ends. I mean, the ends don't justify the means. There is no principle, there is no ethics. If you come to me and say that the ends justify the means, everything else is over. This is anomie, lack of governance. There is no justification. Lula's problem of dealing with everything and trying to be affectionate, and that Italian guy that came to Brazil and they haven't decided anything, only after the election because they can't affect the candidate. Everything's wrong, you know. That's the representative politics they're doing. This is not democracy. This is democracy in my eye. This is total stupidity. Celso Amorim was going to the UN and he highlighted Lula's politics. He is the Chancellor of Brazil. He shouldn't miss things. He was thinking about being candidate to the presidency. A question. In the same day of the earthquake, we had a solar hail. Are these two phenomena related? No. These are different things. What's the best way to overcome a relationship crisis of 7 years? I have been trying to make contact, but he's escaping, he's running away. What's the best way to leave this melancholy? I have no strength to keep going. Is waiting the best way? Yes, you can wait, or you can make a renew, to make a recycling. Maybe it's about time. We have used in the past astrology, astronomy, and religions. Nowadays we are using Conscienciology and projectology. We have courses, we have labs to develop our psychism with cosmoethics. And are they going to be avoidable resources in the future? Yeah, everything gets better. Life's this way. That's evolution. Leading edge, relative truth. Every truth lasts little because there's always a new truth. Another hypothesis. That's the importance of making critics. In global website, a census revealed that in Brazil we have more people above 100 years old. What's the role of Conscienciology to improve life in the fourth age? Well, we are trying to make our best. Let's move on. We have Longevita. It's a group of people who study this subject. Is there anyone here? Jussara? No? Well, we're coming, right? Consci or consex? Whatever. Fafa, please. I have two questions. One from Alex in Barcelona. He wanted to ask something. His friends asked him, we have a balcony. The Pope is going to pass by this balcony. The Pope in Barcelona. Yes. And everybody's going to rent the balcony. Their question is, what do you think about the counterflow regarding the rent of this balcony? I think that Pope nowadays is charging for everything. He is receiving money for everything. To take a picture, you need to pay. In a way that Catholic Church is even more commercialized, even more commercial. Just take a look in Aparecida. The commerce is crazy. That's how Luther, our friend was against the church. The Papa is Pop. You need to check the price of the wedding party. Yes. Yes. The Papa is Pop. They are going the same way the Protestant people. Edir Macedo, the bishop in Brazil, the evangelical bishop, is the great pop star from the Bible. Yeah, according to them, Jesus is the way. They are only getting their toll, charging the toll, because they need to keep the road. Jesus is the road, and they charge the toll. Yeah, he could charge very high and come here to make a complementarium. It would be worth it. Tell him to check if the balcony is able to bear everybody. Otherwise, they will fall from the balcony, okay? Parades, soccer games, Olympics, everything's falling apart. So, you better check. There are many old houses in Barcelona, so he'd better watch. Barcelona is one of the biggest slot places. They sent me some data. Everything gives money. You can get money with tourism very easily. The orgies, there are orgies there. It's a bohemian area. And the peace in the streets is awful. I don't know if people have peed a lot in that house, and the house may come down, fall apart. The peace is a corrosion to the cement. It's one of the worst pathologies, yeah. Just to finish, second question. Page 3, Taxology, you talk about the evolutionary resources, right? I would like you to talk about the 25, the orthothosenics. The way to have your orthothosenic line is with lucidity. Could it be with lucidity? Yeah, linearity. You just need to think correctly regarding everything you do, foresee and think positively. That's it. And what would be the 37? The sensorial. 37. Sensorial. Of your senses. All your senses. Sensory. Yeah, the sensory one. For example, do you see well? Do you hear well? Can you feel the taste? For example, you can see some food has too much salt and you can't eat it. Yeah, that's what you told us in previous tertulias. You take advantage of all your senses to help other people. Yeah. When my patients came in my office, I could feel the smell, and there are some diagnostics that can be done through the smell, because there are some diseases that people have and they spread a smell. I don't have that anosmia anymore. I don't feel the smell as in the past. I looked like a dog. I was sinologist. Today it's different. But why is it different? Oh, because of the accident. Because I have my head cracked, and they tried to see if I was crazier, and they made some tests and came to the conclusion that I was better because maybe my head was rearranged. Then a professor about these politics issues. The mayor of Foz do Iguaçu would like to come back here to Tertuliarium and make a debate on the theme, the ends do not justify the means. Yeah, that's it. He has some arguments because he wants to express his point of view. Yeah, he can come here. We are here. We are here to debate. The ends don't justify the means. And Paulo, the mayor, is being honest. Not everybody is able to talk about this because it's not sympathetic. Many people go against him if he says that. If he says the ends justify the means. There's no way to defend it. Okay.
Can I make you a question? So, coming back to religions, I started reading a book, a psychographic book, and the character was a priest from the Inquisition, and he says that the priests nowadays are the black priests from the past. Have you read something about that? No, I don't know anything about that. Okay. Waldo? Letter A here. Professor, I have some suggestions here in the entry. Antagonismology, I don't know. The antagonism, energetic trash, and adjusted object. Did you hear? Adjusted object. Okay. It depends on your accent. Yes, I think you can put it. We have a red mention on in some page here. On the last page we have some information about the energetic trash. I would like you to talk more about here in pathology, about the cohesive auxiliary research. Could you talk more about that? The cohesive auxiliary resources. Those who give coherence, balance among everything that you do in your life. So you have some technique in your memory, related to your memory, to help someone. So those are the resources that you deal with. You get them together. This is the cohesion. It's positive. Waldo here. On parapathology, on last line, the research of the extraphysical centers. What do you want to know about that? What would be? It depends on the center. The extraphysical center of energy is energy. Of the truth is going to give you inspiration to clarify someone. Of the fraternity is going to help you to deal with assistance. What do you want exactly? It's a resource that we need. This is the way. This is our way. Do you want to say something, Arthur? Please. Yes, I'd like to know if there is something better than being a happy helper. What did he say? If there is something better than being a happy helper, I'd like to know. A happy helper. That's what he's talking about. Better than being a happy helper is being a happy mother, like your mother. She must be very happy. Did you understand? Listen up. Everybody here likes a lot of your mother, likes a lot your mother, and also Renzo, but you are the new one here. So they are just starting to like you. His name is Arthur. I asked her if it was an imitation of my son, because they have the same name. That's the case. But he has been studying non-stop. He studies more than Renzo. All over the place, I saw him taking notes and pointing out something. Oh, he's serious. What did he say? He's very intelligent. He's a very smart boy. Renzo, I think you, after, the appearance of after Arthur showed up, you are going to study more. You must study more. He's stronger. Yeah, he's a good example in a lot of things. That's true. Let's study, Arthur. Tell me, how was the lab? How was it? Did you like it? It was very good. He was in the lab. I went to the self-organization laboratory. Half of this audience haven't been there so far. Half of these people. I want you to introduce that lady. Her name is Laura. After, you go there and talk to her. She's Laurita. She helps a lot. Yeah, it's good for you to talk to her. She's Spanish. She comes from Spain. But nowadays, she's even more Brazilian than us. All right? Yeah, he needs to know everything. Laura would be great. Would be great to talk to him. We have talked already since the first time I saw him in the Tertúlia. She has a Spanish accent. She's from Spain. But I think you are going to understand everything that she says. She's a high-level person. Thank you, so. Thank you. Do I still have time to ask you something? So this political issue that I was watching on the presidential debate, and there was that subject, which was abortion. So she just went to the second term because of the abortion. The evangelicals voted against her because she was for the abortion. So let's see. Next October 31st, we are going to see. What do you think? Do you think that he can win? Everything is possible. It's not defined yet. 7% is, it's too. Yeah, we still have 11% of people who doesn't know who they are voting in. But if Lula starts talking those foolish things, he's going to lose this election. It depends on his talks. The decision of this election is going to happen. He talks a lot. Yeah, it's something ambiguous. So the impression that we have that he has been drinking a lot. Nowadays, more than the average. You know, the way he is talking, this entity, you know, he's lacking of balance. You know, it's from the alcohol. It's an alcohol result. We have to examine if he has been smoking too much. We don't know anything about that. You know, it doesn't show up. Sometimes those situations just appear by the time that the guy is dying, the last minute, you know. So it's a problem. But it's good for him to make some exams and everything. It's very important. But did you understand what is an avoidable resource? It's that resource that we have to replace for a new resource. You have to lead to the cosmetics, to the recycling style. So we cannot do the same things forever. The recycling is something unavoidable. We all need that. So let's do this renovation. Okay, the advertisements. Thank you. The facts of today, 131 of signatures, 34 present questions, 24 online questions, 34 present votes, and 8 online votes. The messages today are about Alexandre, Assinvaxis, Ana Luisa, IIPC Congress, Teacher Malu about CID, Flávio Amaral debates, and also for the forum, social forum. Here we have Leandro talking about Tertúlias. Good afternoon. This is a message mainly for the Tertulians. We've been telling you that we are changing since last Monday. We're going to have 3 different channels. When you get into the internet to watch online Tertulias, we are now asking you to use the channel 1 and the channel 2, because we are going to eliminate the number 3. So if you have problems, you have to email us telling us all those problems. And we are open for your feedback. And we are also going to update you all the time about those changes. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, all. We are still with 37 kits of the encyclopedia, and they are sold at the CEAEC reception. For those who put their names on the list some months ago, and all these kits are available for these people. So they are selling at the reception. We are accepting Visa, American, and Master cards. And the cost is 700 reals, and we are just reminding you that it's a publication, the last one before the official one. So we also want to remind you that the subscriptions for the Encyclopedia Friends can be done at the reception of CEAEC and also on the website. Good afternoon, Tertulians and Tertulians. I'd like to invite for the lecture in the Assinvaxis. The professor is Alessandro Machado, and you can access in the website of Assinvaxis, www.assinvaxis.org. Good afternoon. The IIPC invites you for the first International Congress of Conscienciology. It's going to take place in the next November 13th and 15th, and we have some courses without prerequisites for those who want to follow the Congress people. We have courses on vibrational state and projective techniques for further informations. You go to the website yipc.org.br or call the 021-3153-7575 in Rio de Janeiro. Good afternoon, all. I'm representing here the Invisible College of the Somatology. They are in the Health Week in Portugal, together with OIC and IAC. The coordinators are Mario and Regina, and we would like to talk about this open programmation that you are going to have the opportunity to attend from November 5 and 7. So for those who want to see those presentations, I'm going to tell you about the first presentation. Mario Oliveira is going to talk about the cosmoetic position during the decimation. For those who are interested in that, just go straight to discernment. It's for free. The person doesn't need to pay anything. So on Friday, the first programmation is this lecture with Professor Mario. After, I'm going to tell about the program from Saturday and also Sunday. Thank you. Good afternoon. We are going to have, within 30 minutes, the debate on longevity. It's here in CEAEC in the Reaprendências room. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Unicim is here to communicate we are going to postpone the third World State Forum. So we have some ICs involved in this event, and we understood that we should get the scope of this forum better. We should become this even more wide. So, in order to think what we've been doing to be a world state seat. So we are going to have another form for this Congress or this forum, and it's going to take place in 2012. So the researchers are going to have more time to deepen their researches, and we count on you with that. Thank you very much. With 24 votes, we have tomorrow the entry, ideological vagueness. The speciality, the subfield is ethology. Good afternoon all, and thank you.